So recently I put some videos up on TikTok speaking on a conversation I had with one of my Puerto Rican friends. And in this conversation, she gives me her opinion on Puerto Rican, Hispanics, and Mexican culture, racism specifically. Me having this conversation led to a huge dialogue of Hispanic people in the comments section giving their POV on the topic. I'm going to show you those videos. I'm also going to show 3 extra videos at the end. One is a Mexican man giving his experience on the topic. The other one is a Salvadorian man who's mixed with black giving his experience. And the last video is going to be a Puerto Rican woman speaking on the topic as well. This is some strong dialogue. If you are black, Hispanic, I highly encourage you to watch it. If you can't handle hearing the strong dialogue about Mexicans, Hispanics in general, and blacks, I wouldn't deem you to watch this. However, as a black man with a mixed Mexican child, I find this conversation very interesting, and I also would love to hear your opinions on it. So if you want, leave a comment and give me your perspective on it. Here you go. I need like everybody's feedback on this conversation I was having. I was chopping it up with my Puerto Rican partner, and she told me like, Joe, do you know like all Puerto Ricans fuck with black people? And I'm like, yeah, through my experience, black people fuck with Mexicans too. She was like, no, not Mexican. I said Puerto Ricans. And I'm like, potato, Mexicano, Puerto Rico. She like, nah, Mexico and Puerto Rico is 2 different things, 2 different people. We not the same. I'm like, yeah, but y'all all speak Spanish, so whatever. She was like, nah, Puerto Ricans use more of a slang in their Spanish, and Mexicans use proper Spanish. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all still use Spanish, so it's kind of the same. She was like, no, it's really not. And she goes to tell me in certain areas, some Mexicans don't mess with Puerto Ricans like at all. And she says, but in majority of these areas, all Puerto Ricans mess with black people. She said in them same areas, a lot of Mexicans don't mess with blacks at all. This when she dropped the bomb on me. She said, look at it like this. She said, the way the whites look at blacks is how Mexicans look at Puerto Ricans. Comment if you want to hear part 2 to this. At this point, I'm just blown away. I'm like, why don't Puerto Ricans just use proper Spanish? She goes, well, that's purposeful. Mexicans and Puerto Ricans purposely separate themselves through their language. She said they do it in their looks too. If you're not from their culture, you would never be able to tell. She said if you was to ever call a Puerto Rican a Mexican, they'll take high offense to that. She said in some places, you might even get your ass whooped. I'm like, well, what's the big beef? I mean, they all Hispanics. Can't they just get along? She answers my question with a question. She says, why do Mexicans want to leave Mexico so much? She said, do you ever hear Puerto Ricans trying to escape Puerto Rico? He goes, how many successful Mexican relationships have you seen? Like, shit, where I'm from, that's almost forbidden. He said, Mexicans want to escape Mexico for the American dream. I'm like, well, that dream is mainly for white folks. He said, okay, how many Mexican and white relationships do you see? I said, more than black and white interracial relationships for sure. Her words was, Hispanics come to America, they see that whites are the conquerors, so they adapt to them. They're the most successful. They want to be successful. Part 3. He was like, Joe, but you gotta think, the Ricans went to war with the U.S., the Spanish War. When the U.S. won, Puerto Rico became part of the U.S. territory. Since Puerto Rico part of the territory, they can come and go as they please. They got the chance to be around some niggas. They ain't gotta pick and choose. I mean, the U.S. went to war with Mexico too. The U.S. only took California, Arizona, New Mexico, Texas. Mexico was still his own country. So when Mexicans were starting to escape, migrate, they had to adapt to America. How do you adapt to America? Follow who running shit. And who running shit in America? White people. In them times, well, today too, but especially in them times, whites not messing with the blacks, and you trying to adapt here, and you're not from here, you bet not like them motherfuckers. We stole the blacks and they don't want to leave, and they want rights. The U.S. was like, listen, this how it's gonna go down, because we like y'all tacos. If you wasn't born here, you don't got no green card, we don't fuck with them. You want to fuck with us, I suggest you not either. But Mexicans see the Puerto Ricans like, damn, y'all know we ain't supposed to be fucking with them, right? Well, y'all not. My ancestors died so I can have a choice. Fuck with who I want to. But we ain't fucking with y'all then. Change your Spanish then. I'm pretty sure everybody got their own gripes with each other. Some Mexicans don't like Puerto Ricans. Some Puerto Ricans don't like Mexicans. As an outsider looking in, let me just say, we don't give a fuck. Look, Puerto Rico, the U.S. whooped your ass and took everything. Mexico, they whooped your ass and left y'all some. Puerto Rico, you might be mad, they still got some of their shit. Mexico, y'all might be mad because they can come and go as they please. Both of you motherfuckers still got y'all name. Vasquez, Medina, Lopez, Guerrero. That's y'all shit. Davis, Harris, Mitchell, Wilson, that was given to us. Oh, y'all still got y'all language. Yeah, but my Spanish is proper, vato. My Spanish got slang, ese. But both of you motherfuckers can speak y'all language and understand each other. We don't know our own language to sneak dish y'all when we get around each other like y'all do us. And this one gonna hurt your feelings a little bit. But we can't tell y'all apart. Y'all got bad bitches. Y'all got bad bitches. Mexico, y'all got beans, chili, and spices. Puerto Rico, y'all got plantains and cassavas. Y'all both like our chicken, so what the fuck? The enemy of your enemy is the same damn people. Listen, America beat y'all countries. They stole me out of mine. Shut the hell up! I kiss and make up! Yeah, through my experience, black people fuck with Mexicans too. She was like, no, not Mexican. I said Puerto Rican.
mean, you're in line though. You know, I hate to say it, but there are some Mexicans that, they don't fuck with black people at all. And there are some of us that we love the shit out of black people. And for me, it's very personal because I was born and raised in Mexico. I came here when I was 13. I'm 32 years old now. I came here without a word of English, and my own people call me a wetback, spick, bracer, border hopper. And it was like that. Then we moved to a black neighborhood, and man, it was nothing but love. Nothing but love. They showed me English. They showed me the way. Pretty much, I grew up black to where now that I'm adult, everybody tells me you're trying to act black. And like, nah, I'm not trying to act black. This is just how I grew up. But the hate from a lot of Mexicans towards blacks and their own people, it's unbelievable. But fuck them.
This just blew my mind.
Just to disclose, I am black and Latino. My mom's Salvadorian. But it's actually vice versa. Puerto Rican people don't fuck with Mexican people, and not all Puerto Rican people fuck with black people. That's a big one. In fact, the entire Hispanic community can be racist, whether they're Puerto Rican, Dominican, Mexican. And as a matter of fact, I ain't sticking up for Mexicans, but in the Hispanic community, they're sort of seen as the black people. Nobody likes them. I mean nobody. Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. I feel like it's because Puerto Rican people tend to feel like they're better because they're U.S. citizens. But my bigger theory is, I think Hispanic racism comes from our confusion of our racial ambiguity. Because Puerto Rican people tend to feel like they're better because they're U.S. citizens. But
I'm gonna speak on this just because I am Puerto Rican. I don't think I'm better than anybody just because I'm a citizen. If anything, growing up, I grew up with a lot of Central Americans, so some Mexicans, some people from El Salvador, some people from Honduras. I was always hated on because they thought they were better. They always called me like a fake Hispanic. I was never real Hispanic. I'm not a real Latina. So I can't say that this is true or not. I do say the part that he says that Mexicans are like the black people. Yes, that's true, but that's because you guys gotta understand, when they talk to us, Puerto Ricans, they tell us that we're fake Hispanics. And I'm not gonna go with all of them because I do have some good friends who are Central American from different parts, and some are Mexicans. But you can't just speak on one thing that you're not 100% sure of either. We don't think we're better because we're citizens. That's not accurate. I'm sorry.
Potato, Mexicano, Puerto Rico. She like, no.
Okay, first of all, it's 2021. We need to leave the all Latinos are the same, potato mentality behind. It doesn't make sense. All other Latino races are primarily oppressed by Mexicans, and that's just the truth. Mexicans have the highest U.S. population in comparison to any other Latino ethnicity out there. Growing up in a predominantly Puerto Rican area means that area was one of the only Puerto Rican areas in Chicago, while I can find several Mexican areas in Chicago. And I'm a Puerto Rican with obviously tan skin, black curly hair, and white features. So when I went to school for the first time listening to reggaeton and I had braids in my hair, I was looked as ghetto, I was looked as ratchet, I was looked as country, I was looked as less than because I was going to a Mexican school. Which is low-key funny considering a lot of Mexican women now are putting braids in their hair and they're starting to listen to reggaeton. So yes, Mexicans treat Puerto Ricans the same way white people treat black people.